Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Dynamite Book. As always, I'm your host, Lyric Swinton. There's tons to talk about, tons to get into. Obviously, tonight was the Holiday Bash episode of AEW Dynamite. Obviously, I'm here by myself today. There's been some scheduling conflicts. Obviously, we're in the holiday season, but without any further ado, let's get right into it. It was a very eventful kickoff to Dynamite. So we started off with Swerve Strickland versus Roosh. Let me tell you, this match was meant for me. This match was built for me. They booked this for me specifically. And I'm just very excited that, we got to see this, especially at the beginning of Dynamite. I will say, like, in the Continental Classic, I have really enjoyed the strong wrestling openers. Never disappoint. And having Swerve and Roosh together was absolutely a fabulous decision. These two have been killing it. And honestly, I feel like this specific match separated them out of, like, because obviously AEW has a ton of main eventers, are a lot of top guys right now, but I think that this match specifically separated them as, like, okay, these need to be guys that are the priority in 2024. These are the guys that need to be pushed to the moon. And so I was super excited by what I saw by here. Listen, Roosh does not understand that wrestling isn't real. Those bumps were crazy, just flinging and swerve around all over the place. This was just physical. It was dramatic, and I loved it. Obviously, Swerve gets the win here, and now he was at 12 points heading into tonight. Not heading into tonight, but to kick off the show, and obviously the rest of the Blue League block matches. I mean, sorry, not Blue League, Gold League block matches took place during AEW Dynamite. If you are here, drop a hello in the chat, or you can always drop a slam chat at slamchats.com. Thank you, everybody, for joining. But moving on, we had Jay Lethal versus Mark Briscoe. Actually, I probably have the order of these matches wrong. That's what happens when you're trying to multitask. But we had, oh wait, I was right. So it was Jay Lethal versus Mark Briscoe. And this match, I knew it was going to be great, but it ended up being so much better than I expected. Um, Mark Briscoe has been such a special talent during this tournament. And I think I said it on Twitter, but I was saying that it's been really beautiful to watch him blossom as a singles wrestler. And it's really unfortunate, obviously, like how he got there. Nobody ever wanted anything to happen to his tag team partner and brother, but it's just been awesome, like the way that he's just continued to adapt, and just make the best, make lemonade out of lemons, as I like to call it. And so he's been absolutely explosive, just jumping around all the place. I just watching matches from him is a treat. And also he brings the best out of Jay Lethal. I think that this is probably the most interesting that Jay Lethal has been to me in AEW is whenever he's faced Mark Briscoe. So I think that this was just a great match all around. When like the finish is so dramatic, when Jay Lethal hits the Jay Driller, you're just like, and then the Mark Briscoe kicking out at one, and then Mark Briscoe pulls out a fucking burning hammer, and you can even hear Excalibur on commentary said, "Is that a burning hammer?" And then transitions it into a Jay Driller. I'm now convinced he deserves every title in the company because what? Why are you pulling out a burning hammer in a match in the tournament after you've already been mathematically eliminated? If that's not the love of the game, I don't know what is. That was absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Mark Briscoe picks up his first win of the tournament here, which is absolutely fantastic. A great moment with the crowd there. This was just everything that you love about pro wrestling and that you should love about pro wrestling. In-ring storytelling was at all-time high with this one, and I absolutely loved it. Moving on. We had another MJF segment with Samoa Joe about the devil. The devils, they surrounded the ring. The lights went out. The stream kept cutting out. I'm tired. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm tired. I am tired. I truly don't care anymore. Like, I truly don't care about this devil concept anymore. That sounds crazy. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I just feel like we haven't made any progress. We haven't made any progress, nothing substantial to where it's just like, oh, this is what I want to see most. Yeah. So that's just how I feel about it. Obviously, this is going to continue to keep going because that's just the way the cookie crumbles with who's world champion right now. But the devil did, in fact, put some words up on the screen and said, like, hey, I'm looking for you. Are you scared? Are you scared of me? And I want to issue you a challenge next week for your Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. So apparently they accept. We don't know who the actual challengers are. And me personally, I just think that is really messed up that there's going to be a title defense on just a Dynamite rather than at the actual Ring of Honor pay-per-view that just happened, where the tag team titles were not defended. But, hey, that's been my gripe throughout this entire storyline, like the fact that we haven't seen these people on Honor Club. We haven't seen them on any of the Ring of Honor programming. Yeah, it's just very unfortunate. But moving forward, we had, I'm almost positive I'm missing a segment. No, I'm not. We had Saraya versus Riho. I don't have anything good to say about this match. Actually, no, I do. I have something good to say about this match. One, I'm really glad that Riho is back. All the great things about her. She's absolutely fantastic. I love whenever she's in AEW. Yesterday, somebody was talking about the first episode of Dynamite on Twitter, and I was just reflecting on that, which had the match that crowned the first AEW Women's World Champion, which was Riho, who beat Nyla Rose on that night. So I love Riho. I'm really glad that she's back. And also, I think Toni Storm being on commentary really kept her in the mix. And she's funny. I'm sorry. Like, I'm still stuck on last week when she said she wanted them to slap each other's tits off and rip each other's hair out, and they would be titless baldies. Absolutely fantastic, exquisite performance. But Saraya and Riho, and was it really great? It was clunky, but that's typically how Saraya matches are, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much because I will say the AEW women's division has been making a lot of progress, and so I want to focus on the good things. But after the match, Toni comes out, because obviously Riho becomes the number one contender to the AEW Women's World Championship. Toni comes out, and she's just like, she's like to confront Riho, but she has Luther carry her down the ramp, which I thought was a great touch. And then her and Riho are having a face-off, and then Mariah comes out of nowhere, looking fabulous, by the way, and hits Riho with the belt. And I would just like to say, that's how you do it. Like, I feel like they got a lot of things for it with the time they were given, for Mariah to come out, for Toni to look like, impressed with Mariah. Obviously, Mariah's been looking for her first match, and so it makes sense. Like, if her first opponent is Riho looked really strong because she's standing up, she's gesturing in her way, she's doing all things. I feel like they accomplished a lot in that time period. And so the Saraya stuff aside, the segment did what it needed to do, and now the match is official. AEW Women's World Championship match at World's End will be Timeless Toni Storm versus Riho, and so that's extremely exciting. Next, actually, before we get to the Roderick Strong versus Commander, I forgot to put a screenshot in here, but there was a face-off backstage between who? Oh, MJF and Swerve. And so during the face-off, MJF is like, hey, because he saw some black clothes on the floor outside of the Mogul Embassy's locker room, knocks on the door, Nana answers the door, he snatches up Nana, and then Swerve says, hey, don't handle my property like that. So they have a promo battle, and Swerve won, in my opinion. But Swerve also said like he has no reason to be the devil, because if he wanted to come for him, he'd come at him straight, which makes a ton of sense. He has no reason to hide. And so it's very clear that these backstage segments, these are MJF has been confronting guys who are likely, world title challengers. So this officially puts Swerve in the world title picture, which I'm all for. I feel like he handled himself extremely well, and the aura, you just couldn't match it. And so, oh well. But then we had Roderick Strong versus Commander. This was a lot. This was a lot. It was a really good match. I will say all the extraness about like MJF being the devil at the end, I could live without. But I really think that Commander has improved a ton. And I think that it's a reason why he is one of the most consistently booked people on AEW television. Even if he doesn't always win, I think it's the reason why he's always booked. He continues to give a great performance, and he continues to improve. And then I also think with Roderick Strong, just let the guy wrestle. He's a dog in the ring. Like, he is just absolute dog. Somebody put it on Twitter, but the end of Heartache that he pulled off here was beautiful. Maybe one of the best he's ever done. I would much rather focus on him being the killer in the ring that he is. But, the match was good. Can't complain about that. And lastly, for the main event, we had Jon Moxley versus Jay White, which was fantastic. I'm going to be honest. I hate all of you who tried to convince us that Jay White wasn't that good. Let me tell you something. Breathe with the Switchblade era, because it is still his era. Jay White is still him. Okay? And this match just proved it. The finish was great. He beat Jon Moxley clean, which is exactly why when everybody was crying about Swerve losing to Mox, I said Swerve didn't need that win over Mox right now. He can always get it back. But Jay White needs to win against Mox right now. And Mox can only afford to lose once in this tournament, which he did here. He sold the hell out of that knee. This is what I've been waiting for. Like, this is what we deserve. And then at the end of Dynamite, he comes out. Oh, wait, not who comes out. Swerve comes out, does this whole stare down thingy with Mox and Jay White. Then Jon Moxley was still selling the knee. He stands up. And then Jay White comes after his knee as, Dynamite faced black. But guess what? We couldn't see it because 1,042,000 camera cuts were taking place during the episode, especially in those last couple minutes. So we couldn't really see when Jay White really knocked out Mox's knee, but that's where we are. What are parts I forgot about? Other segments that happened. So there was a point in here where best friends were talking to Renee, and it was Trent, Chris, Orange, Cassidy, and Rocky Romero. Renee basically asked them what's next for Trent and Rocky, because Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy have been occupied. Rocky says he just lost his CMLL historic welterweight championship, and he wants to face top competitors and take advantage of all opportunities. Then Orange Cassidy says, "Fine, you got it." And so they will be having an international title match on Friday's Rampage. Also, what else happened? Oh, Chris Jericho has a segment where he vacates the number one contendership of the Golden Jets for World's End because of Kenny Omega's injury. And let me tell you, I just would like to say, get well soon, Kenny Omega. He'll probably never hear this, but truly my favorite wrestler, one of the wrestlers who's had probably one of the biggest impacts on my life personally, one of my greatest inspirations, and I just really appreciate everything that he does. to make sure that all of us have the best time watching wrestling and enjoying wrestling and loving wrestling. And I truly admire him for the pain that he withstands, and puts himself through, all for the love of the game. And so I wish him a speedy and healthy recovery. I hope that he gets well soon. His life both inside and outside of wrestling. And so I just wanted to say that. So Chris Jericho basically said that, and it was really nice to hear the crowd chant in the background. So all in all, I will say I'm very happy with the trajectory of where Dynamite and just AEW programming period has been going. I will say Collision has been a little more so my taste, just because it's more straight wrestling. I don't have those sports entertainment stuff, but and it's not that I hate sports entertainment. I feel like that's a misconception. I just feel like Dynamite as a show should be probably, I would say 80-20, as far as like 80% wrestling focused, 20% sports entertainment focused, and it should all like feel, the making a joke or, popping the audience and segments shouldn't come at the cost of like ruining the pace, because I feel like that's what's happening. You'll have these excellent opener matches from the Continental Classic, and then you have this big segment, and it's just long, it's clunky, and it kind of like throws off the pace of the rest of the show. And that's like, I think that's it. That is one of the issues with the Continental Classic, because, and I think for future years, it should be considered like, how much are we going to commit to this? Because it's like you're going from the Olympics, you're in the Olympics for like the first 45 minutes of Dynamite, and then you transfer into Real Housewives of Atlanta. No, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And then you want to go back to the Olympics. And it's just, it takes you out of, I would say, the trance that I feel like sometimes the AEW used to be able to put you in, of just like a great episode of Dynamite. It holds your attention through and through. And I'm just not sure if we got that with this. So I don't know. We'll see. But overall, I love the Continental Classic, and I hope they keep doing it. They said that they will, so that's really great news. Obviously, next week will be the semifinals, and so that will determine who goes to World's End. So right now, we do know the semifinal for the Gold League. It is going to be a triple threat match. So you're going to have Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland versus Jay White. So that's going to be upcoming on Dynamite. So super excited. Personally, I think that Jay White is going to win. Oh, wait, no. I think that either Moxley or Jay White is going to win. Especially if Eddie Kingston wins on the other side. I could see a Mox versus Eddie, or maybe just Jay White winning it all, which he would deserve after what he was put through at Full Gear. But I don't think Swerve will win. But I don't think that Swerve will be a part of the pin. But I don't think Swerve will win, just because they've been teasing a lot of stuff with him and Keith Lee. If Keith Lee has been searching for him, and him is Swerve, and because he's defeated anybody else who could possibly be him. So, and then obviously tonight with the MJF and Swerve segment afterwards, Nana's like, hey, I need to inform you about the Collision incident, said that to Swerve. And obviously on Collision this upcoming Saturday, not Prince Nana, but Brian Cage will be facing Keith Lee. So there's going to be a lot of overlap there. So I don't believe that Swerve will be winning, simply because it seems like he's going to be occupied for World's End. But there's tons and tons and tons to still be excited about. I think that we're going to see a lot of the guys from the Continental Classic really rise even higher after this. And I think that specifically for the Gold League, outside of the winner, I think that Swerve, Roosh, and Mark Briscoe specifically have increased their stock by a mile. So super excited. But that's really the entire show. Wanted to keep it short and sweet. Obviously, we're in the holidays. I think I will be on next week, which is the finals of the Continental Classic. But actually, will I be on next week? Yes, I will. So I will be on. Actually, no, I won't. I'm lying. Yes, I won't be on next week because I will be on my way to Japan. That is why I won't be on next week. So this is actually my farewell to you all for the rest of the 2024 because I will be heading off to Japan next week. But I will be doing my closeout recap on my own show, Maps and Graps podcast, tomorrow. And I go up on my podcast platforms. And so if you would like to keep up with me, you can follow me on social media at Lyric Wrestling on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can find me on YouTube at Lyric Swinton. This past week, it's been a really interesting week for me in a good way. I dropped my new feature about Swerve in his miraculous 2023. I dropped that here with BodySlam.net. That came out earlier this week. And I also dropped a new interview with Leah Rush that just came out on my YouTube channel. And there's a few other surprises that are coming soon. So if you would like to support me and my work, you can donate a Slam Chat. You can donate to my Cash App, where my Japan fund is going strong. But I really appreciate having this show and this platform. I appreciate Lo for co-hosting with me on so many great nights. And I'm so excited to see what we do in the new year. It's going to be a lot of fun things, some fun changes, but it's all going to be great stuff. So I'm super excited for you all to see it. But until next time, I must bid you all adieu. Goodbye and good night. Bank. Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.